Hello and namaste, my beautiful friends. I'm Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of August the 26th, 2024. Now, please bear with me. I have a bit of a cold. I've been doing some traveling and came back with just a lovely summer cold, so I appreciate your patience. And I will not be adding the tarot in at the end this week. So again, thank you for your patience. As we come into the end of August, hard to believe, what an interesting week we have. We have a formation forming in the sky that is called a kite. And so I love the idea of, visually, it's really interesting to see in the chart. And it also gives the idea of aiming high, of having a little loft, having a little bit of float, a little bit of wind beneath our wings, so to speak, this week. And so I do feel like, especially at the beginning of the week, it's a time to really step into some of these more positive energies and take advantage of them. Now, as we finish up the week, there's some tension being introduced. And of course, we're still dealing with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, still in a difficult angle to Saturn and Pisces. And we began to pick this up a couple weeks ago. You're still working with this conflict between the Gemini area of life and the Pisces area of life. The ideas that you're having, the thought forms, and then how are you going to make them reality when that very structural Saturn is in that kind of elusive sign of Pisces, right? So we're trying to find our feet underneath us. Now, there's a lot of Neptune firing this week, which can often introduce a little bit of uncertainty. But in these times of uncertainty, I want you to really think that you are being guided and led to rely upon your intuition, rely upon your guides. I have had numerous clients over the last couple of weeks really feel untethered, unsupported, uncertain, okay? And so it is about understanding when things change radically, you do have to become a little bit more change adept, a little bit more certain with the uncertainty. And it's the gentle moving forward with your ideas, the exploring, and then watching things either slide into place or dissipate so that you need to choose a different direction. That's, I think, probably the best overall advice I can give you for this cycle. Part of this interesting kite formation is the positive connection of the three outer planets, those transpersonal planets of Uranus and Taurus, Pluto in Aquarius, which is by the end of the week backing into Capricorn for one last little tour, and then Neptune in Pisces. These planets are flowing together in a very positive configuration. This does not necessarily mean ease. It means that we are being ushered into the new era, all right? And so there are large collective cycles in play. This is not just for each individual, all right? Everybody collectively is going to be going through these big shifts and changes. We are going to need to be able to adapt. Now, we start the week off with this gorgeous connection. Venus and Virgo beginning to trine Uranus and Taurus. This is a fabulous flow of earth energy. Now, Venus and Virgo, not her favorite place to hang, but she can really help you to kind of discern and see the way forward, offer you some critical thinking skills that perhaps you hadn't applied to this situation. And then that Uranian energy is there to break you free, to offer opportunities and give you, the magical synchronicities that can help kind of let things fall into place in those two areas of life. And so that Venus, as it continues to move forward, begins to also trine to Pluto, because Pluto is so close to moving back into an earth sign, right? So Venus in this gorgeous connection with these transformational planets, it really is supportive of change. It really is supportive of that discerning energy, right? So don't let it be that I can't do it exactly the way I want, so I'm not going to bother. Instead, let it be like, wow, hey, I kind of see a way through this maze if I'm really paying attention, right? And remember also that Venus in Virgo is the servant. Virgo energy wants to be useful, wants to be helpful. And so almost think about this idea of like, what does the world need? Okay, you need that too. And if you can offer that, it will open doors for you. Absolutely. Now, there's also a lovely flow in addition to this lofty kite that is happening between Virgo energy, Taurus energy, Aquarius energy, and Pisces energy. There's also this really nice combo between Mercury and Leo, Chiron and Aries, and Mars and Gemini. So really take advantage of these little opportunities that come this week, the conversations that you need to have, because Mercury has finished up its retrograde period and it's still in the shadow, right? But still, a lot of things that you kind of like maybe left on the table, thought weren't really going to come through, didn't hear back about the job or didn't get that, email you were expecting. Well, those things are going to start to come in. So anticipate that and open up to them. Make sure that you're not so caught up in the things that didn't work out, that you're just, on the loop with that. Or, if you're looking down, shuffling along, looking at your shoes, you're not going to see the opportunities in front of you, all right? Now, Venus then will step in and perfect that kite formation on the 28th when it stands across the sky from Neptune. So everything else is flowing, but that Venus-Neptune is in opposition. Now, this is an opportunity to create a synchronistic harmony, right? It's a tug of war, but there's a point of balance, right? Where both are kind of holding each other up in a perfect balance, a balance between inspiration and logic, a balance between what it is you wish to accomplish and what is possible, a balance between the groundedness of Earth, the service, this purposeful life that we have, and the inspiration and spirituality that supports us through it all. So feel into that. And then realize that Mercury station is on the 28th. And that may be the day that you kind of like get the aha moment. And I realized I just said like a minute ago that it was already a direct. It's not. It goes direct on the 28th, but it's still in the shadow, right? It's still functioning. But anytime you have those stationary retrogrades or stationary directs, it's a stamp. Boom. What's the message here? What's the symbolism that I'm experiencing? On the 29th, Venus will move into Libra and say a big sigh of relief, because as much as she's been functioning well here in Virgo with these supportive energies, she way prefers to be in Libra. It is one of her favorite signs to be. As she moves into Libra, she's going to be coming up on a little grouplet, a little stellium, a group of planets in Libra that includes the South Node. And so it is a time for you to really start to focus on the positive partnership expressions and, kind of who you really want to be doing this dance of partnership with and who maybe isn't supportive of you in the way that you need them to be. So there's going to be a lot more relationship karma kind of coming up at the end of the week and into next week. Now, the tension begins to be introduced at the end of the week when Mars and Gemini squares Neptune. It's just this sense of ideas getting overwhelmed with emotions, right? So there's this kind of the word I keep hearing is growl. When you encounter somebody and you get that feeling, it's like meeting a new dog, right? And all of a sudden, there's no wag. They're not wagging, and it's just, and they're giving you a little warning, right? I feel like that's how this energy is going to feel at the end of the week and into early next week. And so be a little bit more attuned to the messages that people are sending, even if they're not verbal, those nonverbal interactions. It's one of the things that I think with so much time on computers and phones and things like that, we're losing some of those skills. So it's a time to kind of heighten those skills at the end of the week, because that could introduce some chaos. And then rabbit, we are into September. We finish the week with Sunday, September the 1st, as a very potent outer planet day. Stationary retrograde Uranus pauses in the sky and begins to retrace its steps. It got all the way to 27 degrees, almost to the very end of Taurus, and now it's going to move back and reconsider and review some of the events over the summer. And so you will be feeling that, especially if you feel this kind of like electrical discomfort and you can't really put your finger on it. That's a Uranian energy, right? It'll be interesting to watch what technological events come up with this. But also on the same day, Pluto, which has been moving backwards, steps back into Capricorn for one last pass. It'll be there from September 1st to the end of November just long enough to cause a little chaos with the elections in the United States, in my opinion, and many other astrologers as well. Lots of information on that out in the world, a lot of incredible astrologers. So yeah, and hop on my website and sign up for my newsletter. I always recommend other people. You know, I devote a small amount of my astrological time to YouTube. There are some real geniuses out there who are spreading great information, and so be sure to check them out. Be sure to also check out Nadia Shah's channel. I am certainly honored to be offering a workshop there in the 4th house at the beginning of October. So then we've got this Venus coming closer and closer to the nodes. You're really going to sense this idea. Any of these messages that you've gotten in this 18-year cycle, it's maybe 18, 19 years ago, that the nodes were in this same period. And here's Venus really asking you, hey, are you operating as equals within your partnerships, whether they're love relationships or business relationships, right? Are you engaging in lower or shadow expressions of Libra? That will be very, very heightened at this time. So for the 3 light things to take advantage of this week, well, that kite formation I think will be really interesting to see. There's a lot of different energies. It might be hard for you to parse it out, but look at your chart and see where that kite is forming, from what those different planets are, and see that nozzle, the point of it, the point of that kite, which is Neptune. It's like, where are you being led? Where are you being inspired? I'm also really loving that Venus connection with Uranus and with Pluto. Very transformational. Let your heart be your guide. And of course, I am also pretty happy about this connection with Chiron and Mercury, which I didn't really talk about. I didn't really bring that up a little bit, but I did mention it just in passing because there's this whole Mercury retrograde period has been in connection with Chiron, and there's a lot of material here being brought up. And when you think about the relationship things that are coming up, you might be thinking, oh, that's all the nodes. Well, Chiron's been working as well. Chiron in a fire sign, and then Mercury going retrograde through a fire sign. So there's this conversations, this idea of healing and abundance, and bringing forth the things that have hurt you, and being able to talk about them and see them and process them, and then actually deal with them instead of just shoving them into the corners of your life. The more that you can unpack those things consciously and move forward, the better off you'll be. As far as the shadow, well, I'm still keeping an eye on that Jupiter-Saturn square. Remember, this is their first contact since the end of 2020. I'm keeping my eye on the mpox. I'm keeping my eye on the bird flu because pandemic-oriented things could still be coming forward. I would also watch anytime, particularly me, as a double Venus-ruled person with a Taurus sun and a Libra rising. I always watch out when Venus has some tension, so she's going to be in a little bit of tension there, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. And then I would also just watch the Neptune opposition, because you can boldly go in the wrong direction when Neptune shows up. And so you want to be tuned into your intuition, but you've also got to watch the signs and symbols, okay? Don't walk mindlessly through the dark. All right. Thank you for your patience with my cold, and thank you for your patience with there being no tarot. I hope you have a marvelous week. I can't wait to hear about how your week unfolds, and I'll see you next week. Namaste. Bye.